Hey, what's up? That's me, Victoria Glam, the host of the Glam Life Podcast. I've spoken on stages around the world, but this is where it actually started, in a small town just like you. I bought this building, I built this business with my loving husband, and then I made a lot of really famous friends. And now I want to bring their expertise to you every week on the Glam Life Podcast. Hi, welcome to the Glam Life Podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Rocca. You might know me as Victoria Glam if you follow me over on Instagram, which you totally should. There's a little bit of a new concept to the Glam Life Podcast this season. Yes, you can still listen to me on Apple Music, Spotify, all the rest. But we also have the video component now. So if you want to watch the full length episodes and see Shay Danielle, in person, in the flesh, or Taryn Darling from last week, all you have to do is go to theglamlifepodcast.com and sign up. It's 100% free. You can watch these back as many times as you'd like, and you'll also get access to behind the scenes content and the after show, where we kind of go over everything that happened behind the scenes in the episode and et cetera, right? Because this season, I wanted to make it a little bit more personable. And also, I really wanted to bring you open, honest conversations with the best in the business, And today's guest is absolutely not the exception, but instead the standard in permanent makeup, honesty, and integrity, which I really, really respect about her. She's a shining star in the world of permanent makeup. She hails all the way from Calgary, Alberta, which is in Canada, if you didn't know. And I mean, this girlie has a reputation that is as shiny as her halo, okay? And she held nothing back. This is a really good interview, I'll be honest with you. And listen, she's not just PMU famous. She's incredibly well respected in permanent makeup circles. And it's no wonder why she's not only famous, but also incredibly well respected, because she's the kind of person who just lights up a room when she walks into it. And I don't mean in the Dateline way. You know how they always say that on Dateline, on 48 Hours? She lit up a room. You already know she got murdered. You know what I mean? I don't mean it in that way. I mean, she's the kind of person who makes you feel like you've known her forever, like the friend in your head, and honestly, very personable, very approachable. You could DM Shay and she's going to respond to you, and probably a voice note that you really know it's her. So from her sterling artistry to her amazing resource collection over at ShayDanielleAcademy.com, we bagged the big one. Okay, so settle in, kick back, relax, get ready for an incredible in-depth conversation, which had no holds barred. There is a form that people fill out before they come on this podcast, and she did not add a single thing in the do not mention column, which I really love and respect. Hey, okay, so real quick, before we get into today's episode, I did want to let you know that Shay Danielle is actually a partner with Brow Sister. So she exclusively uses pink cream and pink gel as her anesthetics in her studio, in her classes, and in her student kits. And if you want to shop like Shay, head over to shopbrowsister.com and use code GlamLife20 for 20% off any purchases you make today. The one, the only, Shay Danielle.
I'm Shay Danielle, and you're watching the Glam Life Podcast.
Hi, Shay. Thank you so much for making some time for us today. I know that you're a very busy lady. So now that you're here, give me all your secrets to success.
All right. Well, where to start? No, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. This is exciting. I don't do a ton of podcasts, but I'm definitely excited to be here with you today.
Oh, I'm excited to have you. Tell me, do you feel like you're successful?
Yes, I do. I actually really do, and not in a cocky way, because my definition of success, I feel, is very different than other people's or some other people that I know. And I feel like success, the term itself, is just so versatile, and it changes for every person, and then it changes for seasons of your life as well. So the answer is yes, I do feel successful. So for me, I have been in this industry for, well over 10 years now. I think we're on year 12. I define it so much differently than I used to. Before, it was hustle culture. It was nonstop, literally. I get emotional talking about how it used to be for me and what I thought success was, because I was literally a workaholic. I lost time with my family. I missed my daughter's first steps, all of those sad things I went through at that time of my life, building up my business. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's no way to avoid that. You have to go through that season to get to now where I define success, what success looks like for me now. Now it's a lot different. It is like time with my family. Success to me is time. So, money, yes, we have to make money in order to have time. So I've gotten to a place in my business where I'm not so in it anymore. The grind, that hustle mentality is gone for me. So I do what I love and I make money along the way. And I'm not in it just for the money. I've never been in it just for the money, but now it's like an afterthought. Like if you ask me what's in my bank account, how much we made last year, what we made this month, I honestly couldn't tell you, Victoria. I'm not even lying. I couldn't. And slap on the wrist for me, but I have a team that takes care of that. It happens to be my husband. So I just do what I love. And if I'm happy and doing it well, I get time with my kids. I'm at the studio. Every day is a freaking blessing, as cringy as that sounds. I'm living my ultimate business success dream right now.
I think that hearing this is going to make people really excited, especially people who are just getting started. Like maybe you took a class in the last 6 to 12 months and you're just getting started and building clientele. You'll think to yourself, that's exactly what I want. But the problem is we only hear from people once they're there, because nobody is interviewing the girl in a 6x6 room with 0 clients. 100%. So take me back to the beginning. Where did you start?
Yeah. So I started in my condo. It was actually Blair, who's my husband. I started in his condo because I had just moved in, and it was a 600 square foot condo. So it was like a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, the size of some people's walk-in closets was what we were living in. And I would set up my bed in the living room, literally move the ottoman out of the way, set up the bed, and I would go to town working on clients all day. And that's when I was literally seeing 8 clients a day. I was so busy. And they thought it was my studio. So they thought that this beautiful little condo was just my working space. They had no idea that this is where we live too. This is where we watch movies and eat our chips and So that's where it started. Blair. Yeah. Blair was hiding in the closet. Don't come out. But then from there, we made some money. We bought a bigger condo. Then it was the bedroom of the condo. And then we moved into our first little duplex home. And then it was half of the basement that I got to work in. And then we moved into our forever home. And then it was the full, I used to call it the lower level studio. I hate basement, the basement browse, but it was gorgeous. It was beautiful.
And not you sending your mom to the basement. Mom, get to work.
Yeah, exactly. Get down there. Get down the stairs.
That is so funny. I've never seen a basement, by the way.
You've never seen what?
A basement.
You've never seen a basement. What do you mean?
I live in Louisiana, so we're below sea level. So we don't even bury people below the ground, really. I mean, maybe 4 or 5 feet, something like that. But most of them are above ground. Because if you start digging, you hit water.
That's crazy. Oh my God. Yeah. Basements are a big thing here.
So when I say I'm beneath you, I mean it. Nobody starts off with these grandiose ideas, right? No one thinks, you know what, I'm going to run $1 million. Maybe some people do. And there is a level of delusion that's necessary to run a successful business, but no one really starts off truly believing, hey, I'm going to be a $50 million enterprise with a CEO. And so when you first started out, what was your idea of success in that first condo? When you moved into Blair's condo and started taking people in the living room, which by the way, Shay is in Canada, so she can do that if she wants to.
Canada, we have no rules here.
What was the dream?
I never had one. I never ever set goals for myself. I never really think ahead. I live in the moment. I make decisions quickly, and I roll with the punches. And that's what I've done, honestly, my whole career. So if you ask me what are your goals for next year? I don't freaking know, Victoria. I literally don't know. Tomorrow it could change. I really just go with the flow. So I never had this dream of opening up a big studio or having staff. That never crossed my mind. I was so content working by myself. Eventually I trained my mom and brought her on as well. And she works with me, trained my sister-in-law, but all of that just kind of happened organically and naturally. There was no plan attached to it. I honestly, if this studio, we can talk a little bit about the studio. Um, I never even really wanted it, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like it was never like, okay, I'm working towards this goal. We could have opened a studio freaking years and years and years ago, but I was so happy working from home and being there with the kids and like having that flexibility. And I didn't really want it. Blair was the one that was like, you know what, there's this place for sale down the street. It's a brand new building. We should take a look.
It's a good
So we
investment.
thought, yeah. So if we were going to do this, there was a lot of things, like it had to check a million boxes. It had to be very close to my house. It had to be something that we could purchase. We wanted an investment. We didn't want to, lease the space, especially working from home with no overhead for 12 years. It's
Right.
kind of hard to think that way. So yeah, like we didn't want anything too big. We didn't want anything too small. And then this place just magically appeared.
Magic. How far into your career were you when you brought mom on?
Oh, good question. She's been with me for, I want to say at least 6 years now, maybe 7.
Whose idea?
It was mine.
Did she take some convincing, or was she like ready to go?
A little bit of convincing. So mom is, like, I love her to death. She's a little bit of a hermit. Like she just likes her. She's kind of like me. I'm actually turning into her as I get older. It's just funny. But yeah, just likes to keep to herself. It's her and my dad, and they just kind of do their own thing. They're not super outgoing. They travel sometimes, but that's about it. They were living in Ontario and on the other side of Canada, and I was here. I had Lila. I think I was pregnant with Maeve. And I was like, Mom, I'm dying here. Like, I have too many clients. I can't keep up with them. People are pissed off because they can't get in to see me. Like, would you consider learning how to do this? And I feel like I get all my artistic ability from my mom. Like, I love sketching, drawing, painting, like all of that stuff. And she's so great at that. And growing up, like, we did a lot of that stuff together and like crafts and things. So yeah, I did. I had to convince her. I was like, do you want to come and do this? And she's like, I could never. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I'm like, you'd be surprised. So slowly started training her. And yeah, then the rest is history. She's been with me for like, yeah, over 6 years now.
That's crazy. I don't know if I could work with my mom every day.
You know what?
Amazing.
There's some struggles with it. I'm not gonna lie. Like training her, being that I had trained so many people, I had trained so many people, prior to training her. And I was really good at training people. Like I was such a great instructor, like just to, brush the dirt off my shoulders here. But training a family member is very different. Like I was so hard on her and expected so much of her. So I was a little bit like a drill sergeant, right? Like she's so good because I was so hard on her, but it wasn't easy. She'll tell you the same. She's like, probably doesn't want to go through that again, but it worked out.
Mama, you got to be nice to mom. I mean,
I know Blair's always like, Shay, it's different. It's a different relationship because she's my mom, but she's also an employee. So like how weird is that? Like to have your daughter be your boss and like telling you what to do and what not to do and scolding you when, there's times that you need scolding. Like it's awkward sometimes, but we've worked our way through it.
It's difficult to be in that new power situation where typically, when we raise our children, we are who's in charge and we keep them on task and we hold them accountable and we teach them things, right? And so to flip that and have to hold your mom accountable and call her on her own bullshit is difficult.
Yeah.
I tell my kids a lot, actually, that exact phrase. I say, I don't work for you. And wow, I can't imagine it.
But you do.
But I kind of do. And I can't imagine if I was actually on the books. They work for me. Did you hire your kids?
No, it's not really. So I know what you're talking about and I've been seeing that, but no. And I think it's a little bit different in Canada than it is in the States.
Yeah.
But don't quote me on that. I actually told Blair the other day, I was like, we need to hire the kids.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll look into it. But he's like, I think it's a little different. I'm like, all right.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, at least in the States, if you hire your children, you can pay them something like, they just upped it. I think it's like $12,000 a year before they owe taxes on it. And a contractor has to be X amount of money in a year before you have to pay payroll tax on it. So, or something along those lines. I'm not a CPA. So the way that my investment guy set it up is that my kids get paid something minimal, like $200 a month or something. And they come and they vacuum and they help me put stickers on things like SKU stickers.
Put little kids together.
Yeah. And we hang out and, we video it and they have a great time. They feel like they're mommy. They sit at the computer. And that I don't hand a 4-year-old $200. That's crazy. We put it into
Yeah.
an investment account for them, a retirement account. So if they
Yeah.
don't touch it for college, if they just let it ride for the next 60 something years, they'll retire millionaires for just shooting out at me. And they can take care of me, because let me tell you something, compound interest, what did Einstein call it? The eighth wonder of the world or something like that. I'm in my mid 30s, right? I'm turning 35 in a couple months. And if I started investing 2 years ago, I put in $2,000 a month, which is a lot to commit to. 2,000 a month from now until retirement. I will still not have as much as they will putting in $200 a month with compound interest.
So
So
crazy.
I'm investing in them so that they take care of me.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's
we
the
do the
beauty of
same.
working
Like,
with family.
we're setting our kids up the best that we can now, and like
They've always been involved though.
yeah, the kids for sure. Like, that's all they've known since they were born. So like, even with me working from home, they knew like not to go down when mom's working. Like, they were always really polite when clients would come to the house. Like, house always had to stay tidy.
Yeah.
And now they come to the studio. Little Maeve loves to sit in the studio and sits at the front desk there.
That's so cute.
Gosh.
When did YouTube come into the picture? Because you have a lot of content on YouTube, but even more so than just educational, you have a lot of family content on YouTube.
Yeah, we've recently like hid most of it, I think.
Oh, have you?
We like, yeah, just because we were trying to, I kind of want to reopen it, to be honest with you. I'm like looking at my assistant right now. I'm like, let's go ahead and like put those back live again. So we started, before I even got into the beauty industry, I was always into beauty. So I used to do like makeup tutorials. Like, they're so cringy to watch. Like, oh my God. There's one that like Blair does my makeup, and it was from like, I don't even know, like 15 years ago. Like, it's just so funny, but so cringy to look back on. And I just love, like, I love editing. I love documenting. Like, we do family trips.
Yeah.
More recently, we've got more like, business content on there, and like technique stuff, and some vlogs, and just more focused in our industry. However, before that, yeah, it was big. Like, I actually had like birthing vlogs where I gave birth to Maeve, and I think it had, don't quote me, but I think it's like 16 million views or something. Like, there's just like tons and tons of people that have like watched me give birth on YouTube.
Okay, I did not see that one. I went through a lot of your old content, and I saw you have one that's about to hit a million, or maybe it has since I looked at it. The areola one, it's like 3 minutes long.
Oh, nice. I don't really check them all that often. Like, I put them on there. Cass, my assistant, kind of goes in and like keeps an eye on things. But yeah,
Are you
YouTube's
monetized?
just, yes, we are.
Oh, good.
I was before. I used to make like good money from YouTube before. Like, when I was doing I would do like outfit hauls. I don't think I'm going to re-release all those, but like outfit of the days, and like a lot of baby stuff was on there when I was pregnant. Just, I've taken people through this journey of my life, and you can, if we were to open everything back up, you can kind of see it's cool, right? Like, how cool for the kids to look back at that stuff, or for me when I'm like old and gray to like look back at this stuff. I think YouTube's awesome.
Me too. And taking people on the journey with you
Yeah.
is what really bonds your audience to the brand, right? Like,
yeah, I agree.
She's relatable, and she's consistently relatable. And she's, somebody who if you don't want to be her, you want to be friends with her. And you learn that through those everyday conversations, not through a video on whip shading,
Totally. I agree. Instagram, like, I try to really balance too on social media, like, enough of like me as a person. Like, don't forget I'm a mom, like, I'm a wife, I barely know how to cook, but I do my best. I burn food sometimes, like all of these things. Like, I have health issues, anxiety, like all of that stuff is just as important for people to see as like the stuff that I sell and the online courses and the products. Like, I am a person, and my brand is me. Like, that's kind of how it boils down. And I feel like I am relatable. I feel like everyone's relatable, but it's what they share, that makes them relatable.
If you're going to show up only as like a perfect princess every day, and everything is just rainbows and roses, and we never admit that we have faults or that there are issues, everything's perfect all the time, it's actually a turnoff. That image that you're crafting for yourself is actually going to make people really suspicious of you and feel like, oh, she's fake. But you know what? right now everyone moved to Instagram a couple of years ago, right? And a lot of people have those very crafted personas on Instagram, very crafted detail. Nobody wanted to be as raw and authentic after a while. But now that's the only thing getting any reach is those raw and authentic posts. Everything else, people are so tired of the static. What do you think about the decreased reach on social media right now?
I think it comes and goes, right? Like you're always going to have those waves with Instagram, with social media. It's consistency that's really important. And it's kind of changing things up. It's reinventing yourself, not yourself, but like the way that you are, getting that information out to people and changing it up and seeing what works and what doesn't work. We'll see it start to dip, get a little bit quiet. And so we'll try something new. We're constantly strategizing with like, all right, I think I want to do something more like this, or we'll see inspiration somewhere, pull it, bring it into our industry and see if it works. And you'll see the boost in engagement, you'll see the boost in comments, you'll see the DMs coming in, you'll see that in sales. And I actually find that challenge fun. Like I actually like that. Otherwise it'd just be boring. Remember the days when we used to post like before and after pictures and that was all we would do. And it was just like a whole grid of like this.
People would just steal the content or they would badly Photoshop it.
Logo on it. Yeah. I remember those days. It's kind of boring. I like Instagram right now. It's not bad.
Yeah, that was really boring actually. And I tell students that all the time. I say nobody gives a shit about your before and afters. Nobody cares. Yeah. Because I've seen that you do great brows. Whatever.
Yeah. Put them on your website. Have a portfolio that clients can look at. Instagram it's different now. It's changed, right?
Certainly. So you are really good at jumping on things as they're taking off or before because you're so flexible, because you move fast. And maybe because, like you said, you don't necessarily have a plan. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. So you were actually one of the first to adapt to not only long form content, but also online education. Did you catch any shit for that?
Did I catch any shit for it? I mean, I was nervous as all hell to do it, right? At the time, no one was really doing it back then. It wasn't like it is today. I think we launched our online academy in 2017. So like, it was kind of unheard of, right? You can't learn online.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. You can't have an online course. You can't charge that little. Like you're undercutting the industry. Well, no, and look at what's happened now, right? Like it's changed so much. There's online education everywhere, almost too much now. It's overwhelming people. But no, I didn't really catch a lot of shit. I just remember being nervous, like that imposter syndrome kicking in, like, not knowing who's watching, what they're going to say, how it's going to be, received. I was pretty scared, but after that first one, I was like, this is my life. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is so amazing. And
what was your first one?
My very first one was lip blush.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was lip blush. That was my first course. And it like did incredible. Like money wise, it did incredible, but like the people that were learning, because again, it wasn't like, okay, you've never touched a tattoo machine, come and learn lips. It was for people who have taken, a brow course. They understand how to use a machine. I'm just teaching you a different part of the skin to work on. Right. So it was super in depth, was received so well. And then that kind of started everything. And then, yeah, so many people did. It was like my first little baby. And what I did with that course is I came in low. Like I came in with a really attractive price point so that people could get to know me and get to know my brand and see what I'm all about, what I'm putting out there, what the content's like, what the value is like. And then from there, I built that trust. So when the next one released, all of those past students purchased plus new students and so on and so forth. And then with each one, I got more confident with increasing the price a little bit to where I saw it to be fit and still have people, being happy with the value that they were getting. So, and now we've got I don't even know, over 70 online courses on our platform.
That is crazy. Like that. So by the way, about that, chicken or the egg, which came first? Did you have tons of people who were engaged with you and wanting to buy classes? So you said, let me host some other people's classes so I can relax a little. Mm-hmm. Or did you start hosting other people's classes and that brought even more eyes to the platform and made it as big as it is?
So I was doing so well on the platform, but I also realized that I don't specialize in one thing. I am not just a lip artist. I am not a brow specialist. I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. I've talked about that before. I do everything under the sun. That is how I work. So I also, with when there's a certain technique, like let's say nano brows, which now I feel like I've finally mastered them and I'm so confident with them. But back then I didn't feel like I was in the space to be teaching people when I was still technically learning, right? It takes a long time to perfect a craft. And although I was doing nanos since like when I started microblading, I didn't feel like I had it enough to be teaching that. So I had to seek out specialists, like someone who specializes in nano, like Maya Moore, who could come on and teach people. Like I would feel more comfortable that way, right? Representing Maya, having her on my platform, Jody for paramedical tattoo, you know, like I do paramedical, but I don't specialize in just
she's
that.
the legend.
So, she is, exactly. So it's like, it's just making those connections, those friendships with people, building trust, because I've worked with these women for a very long time. Some of them have been on the platform for years, you know, and we've worked so well together. No drama. Everybody's happy.
Oh, we got drama. We got drama on the platform. Me and Maya Moore are going to fight.
You got to get Maya on here. She's the best.
No, she's on my wish list. And by the way, I'm kidding. Maya and I met in person at the 8 a.m. and we squashed our beef. So,
excellent.
We don't have beef. She used to work for a company that was calling themselves the Microblading Institute. And URL still forwards to More Beauty Love. And she's been trying to help me get in touch with them to buy the URL. But at this point, it's been years and I don't even want it now. I own microbladingclass.com. So that's fine with me. But I thought it was so funny that she didn't even say, "Hi, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Maya." She was like, "I didn't forget." I was like, it's not a problem, Maya. It's okay.
I love it.
No, I really want her on here because I took her I took a class with you through you, but it was with Maya and it was the nano class. And I absolutely adore her. And then of course I met her at 8 a.m. and I heard her speak and I just love her. Have you ever had a falling out with someone though and been like, what do you do in that situation where someone says something? Do they tell you to pull their course down or?
No, I haven't had that experience within, you know, my platform, but of course, people have falling outs. Like in this industry, you try and work with people and collaborate on things, and it doesn't always go so well. It's just par for the course. You gotta deal with it. It's something I will never I don't really publicly speak about stuff like that. Like if I'm having an issue with someone, that's something that we will sort out on our own. Luckily, I've been blessed with really amazing friends and awesome people that I've chosen to work with. But it can't be avoided, and it doesn't have to be drama. It can just be you know what? Let's go our separate ways. We're not on the same path. We're not seeing the same thing, and that's fine. It's part of life.
I think so. You know, when I first started Brow Sister, I had a partner in that business and I chose to end that partnership because I felt it was stunting the growth of the company. And in the 8 months that I've owned 100% of my company, I've done so much with it that didn't happen in the last 2 years. But I think everyone has that. And my last episode of season 2 is called Making a Monster, where I tell the story of my business boogeyman, the person who burned me so bad in business and just how it affected me, especially being pregnant at the time and being a newborn mother and the whole thing. I got more relatability and thank you DMs from that than any other episode because I think, you know, it's proper protocol to just not say anything.
100%.
And then people feel like, well, how much of that is my fault when they get into a spat with someone who is never supposed to be their partner in a little, you know, lease or something. And actually it's so common. Everyone goes through it. Everybody. And then we look at Shay Danielle, Swiss, the Swissest of all people. And we think, damn, is it possible to actually have no beefs?
You know what? There's beef. You're always going to have beef and you're going to find people that you can't work with. And that's how you learn that's tuition, right? That's the learning lessons, the cost of growing your business and becoming a better business owner, a better person, more confident with yourself. But I honestly, I think that nobody really wants to talk about it. So I think that what's most important with anything that goes on, any decisions that you make, if you are comfortable going to sleep at night, putting your head on that pillow and not stressing about choices that you've made, things that you've said, that's all that you can do as your own person. So in any situation, integrity wise, make sure you can go to bed at night, putting your head on that pillow, feeling confident with who you are and the choices that you made. The rest is out of your control, completely out of your control. And I feel good every single time I go to sleep. I lay my head down and I feel happy about choices that I've made that day. Swiss, baby.
There you have it. There you have it. Shay Danielle sleeps very well at night, bitch.
Yeah, I do.
No, you know what? I was speaking to Carla Ricciardone the other day, and she was telling me that like there has to be a definition in your brain between a working relationship and a friendship, because you can't really intertwine the two. And she was kind of chastising me for something going on with a friend who was moving out, and she was saying, Victoria, I'm hearing like all these feminine words, and I need you to masculine it up in your business. Like, you're telling me how you feel and what you thought and how it made you feel, or how she's feeling. You have to stop, because you can still be friends, but at the end of the day, it's like a business partnership. But then I started thinking, but there are times when that's so difficult, because let's say, and this has happened to me with more than one person on more than one occasion, I see my friend getting like canceled or dragged. And like, you know, as a friend, wouldn't you stand up for your friend? But as a business person, you stay out of it because it has nothing to do with your business. And I have other people's livelihoods to think of.
Yep.
How do you, I know that you have seen this before in the past because you're friends with everyone. So how do you deal with that? Does that irk you? Like, oh, I want to say something.
It does, because it puts you in a really uncomfortable position. It's really hard, right? People will have expectations of you. Friends will have expectations of you. And you, at the end of the day, you know, it comes back to being selfish. And I hate that word, but I'm learning to become more selfish over the last few years. I'm really trying to focus on me, my family, and like that's my inner circle right there.
Yeah.
So anything else, like,
I agree.
It's really hard. Like,
we're saying the same thing, but I wouldn't call it selfish. I would actually say it's selfless. It would be very selfish of me, because this thing is in the back of my brain irking me, to just go ahead and spit it out, which is who I am as a person. I just always say it. If there's a choice between confronting or not confronting, I'm just going to say it, because I like to clear the air and just get it off. It's going to play in my head over and over like a skipped record if I don't say it out loud. But I have other people to think of. I have other people who make money at my shop, you know? I have other people who depend on mom to make some money.
Yeah, I guess it boils down to prioritizing, really. And it sucks. There are decisions like it can be really, really hard, you know, working with friends, or sometimes you start as business and you become friends, and that's almost even harder because
they're your husband too.
Oh yeah.
How does that dynamic work? First of all, when did he step into the business?
I'd say about like hardcore, like maybe 5 years ago. And then more recently, he's like a lot more hands-on. What was that?
What was that conversation like?
Again, don't think that we even had one. Like, I don't think that it was like, would you like to come full time? And do you want to? It just naturally happened. Like, he was going to work. I was making a lot of money. We were losing money by having him go to work.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't make sense for him to be doing that anymore. So I would have rather him been staying home with the kids and helping out, you know, around the house and that sort of thing. But he's a manly man and wants to work. Like, it's natural, right? So it just naturally progressed. He'd help me out with a couple things. I am not a numbers person at all. I am like very artsy and creative, and like numbers are not my thing. So that's why I tell you, I'm like, I don't know how much is in my bank account. Blair knows, and I trust him and I love him.
I don't want to look.
Yeah, that's his wheelhouse. So although we work together like very closely on the business, we don't ever cross paths. Like, he stays to his side of things, I stay to my side of things, and we support each other the best we can. He wants to show me spreadsheets I have no interest in looking at. Like, I'm just like, don't know how to make one, don't know how to read one, but he loves that thing, that stuff. And I love that about him. He can't do what I do. So we need each other now more than ever, because, you know, the business has expanded more and we've got a lot more responsibility, and he's extremely organized. So it helps a lot. But yeah, just again, natural progression, no plans, no goals. It just happened.
So something else I want to talk to you about that just happened, like no one could plan for, is you recently had a really big health scare, and you talked about it on social media. So I assume it's okay for us to chat about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
So if you don't know, Shay basically died while on a date with her husband, and they brought her back to life, like on the floor of a rodeo. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
In her fishnets.
In my fishnet stockings. Yeah, it was pretty freaking scary, to say the least. We were not expecting that. I never go out. I'm a hermit. I'm a grandma. I like to stay home with my kids. I had my time when I did party and go out and all of that stuff, but I'm not like that anymore. So once a year, my one night a year that I like to go out, we have the Calgary Stampede, which is a massive like rodeo. This whole city turns into like old school country for 10 days and big tents and beer gardens and all of that. So I went out one night with a big group of friends. There was probably like 30 or 40 of us. And I got there within 15 minutes. I told Blair, I don't feel very well. And I hadn't drank any alcohol. I stopped drinking. I took a break from drinking like 9 months ago, and I just enjoy it, like not drinking. So I haven't gone back to it. So I hadn't had any booze. I had a half a cup of Red Bull and I fainted. Like I fell to the ground, smacked my head on the concrete. Long story short, I couldn't get back up. So they called an ambulance, took me out. I was so embarrassed, wearing fishnet stockings, like short denim shorts, and like, you know, cowboy boots and like the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, my heart was racing so fast, they could not get my heart rate down. And they had to I got a Control-Alt-Delete essentially on my body. Like they just had to reboot me. So yeah, they stopped my heart and then restarted it 10 seconds later. So I flatlined for 10 seconds and then that was that. So I
can't imagine what Blair was thinking.
He was shaking so hard. Like the paramedics, I think, were equally as concerned with him because he went into like full shock, just fear. But yeah, I'm doing a lot better now. I've seen like a ton of specialists and it's called SVT, and like I'm going to see another specialist and there might be like a small procedure or surgery they can do on my heart to kind of fix it. But day to day now, I'm feeling so much better. So yeah, it was a big eye opener, I would say.
Yeah.
For me.
You technically died. Did you get that thing that they talk about in movies where like the most important moments in your life flash before your eyes and you think of things? Did you feel that way? Because I watched your video where you were explaining it and you said that you couldn't move and you knew that it was, you know, you were turned off basically, but you could hear people.
Yeah, so I could hear people when I came back. As I was going, it was like a dark hole. But what was going through my mind was like, in that last moment, was thinking about like, what, like Blair taking care of the girls and like money and are they going to be okay? Like all of those things. And then leading up to that, in the ambulance, there was a clock and it was flashing every time. Like it just was a flashing clock. Like an alarm numbers. And every time it flashed, I kept saying in my head, Lila, Maeve, like my girls' names. I just kept saying to myself to like try and stay as long as I could. And it was so scary. I hate even talking about it and going back to that, like that night was just, So to me, I think it was a massive message. I think it was like a big shake to me to smarten up. I'm always taking care of people around me and I need to take care of myself because I don't do that. I think I'm invincible. I think I can go all day with no food. I think I can live off coffee and Coke Zero and just power
through. You weigh 92 pounds.
But that's our life in this industry. We are so busy and we care so much for the people around us and for our clients and for our family and for taking care of everyone else. It's a lot of weight on our shoulders and we don't even realize it sometimes. Yeah. So we have to take that time to take care of ourselves. Like we absolutely do. I have to force myself to eat when I'm not hungry. My lovely assistant, like constantly is filling up my water jug for me. Like Cass is always taking care of me. And it's a team effort to keep Shay around. So yeah, I'm doing the best I can, but it was definitely a big eye opener and a big message.
With a big scary experience like that, you know, when you're back on your feet, back alert and cognizant, what are your first thoughts for like, I need to change this? Did you have any of those thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I knew like that's the closest to death that I hope to ever come until that day. But it's just, I cannot go back there. And another thing is like, like we are all so concerned with like, you know, how we look and our hair and, you know, have we gained 10 pounds over COVID and this and that. And to anyone that says that they don't think about those things, we're women, we do. It's natural. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, but at the end of the day, what does it matter? Like, what does it matter? Taylor Swift. Okay. I don't know if you ever saw that clip of Taylor Swift where she was like saying she was doing these shows and burning out. And she thought that when she got off stage at the end of the night, that is how she was supposed to feel. And that's because she was like starving herself, not eating, and like working like crazy, not taking proper care of herself. And then she made a shift, she made a change. And now she's like, I can do these shows and not feel like I'm going to pass out at the end of the day. Like I can do this, but you have to prioritize that and change your mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like
setting. And by the way, she turned that around. I'm not even a Swiftie, but she turned that around to take such good care of the people helping her put on these shows that are easier for her to do. Like she paid just the truck drivers driving her stage and sound and audio and stuff around. She paid them $100,000 each as a bonus.
Amazing.
She's taking care of everyone around her, but she's also still taking care of herself. I think that's so important. And this was at the same time that you're opening your new studio. So did you start to panic? Like maybe this is not the time. What did we get into?
No, it didn't line up at that time. So that would have been a lot more hectic and scary if that was the case, but we were already in here and settled. But this place needs me to run it, like I'm a huge part of what goes on here day to day in the studio. So it was tough, but luckily I've built enough of a support system and team around me that if like this were to happen again, I am confident with the systems that we have in place and the people that are working here and their excellency of work, that I don't have to stress so much, right? I am now able to take a step back by choice or by necessity when these things happen, and I'm okay. So it's not just me on my own anymore, which is what it was for so long. So it's really nice to have those people that you can rely on and to have your back in these times of struggle, right?
Yeah. Everybody talks about getting really successful in their business and they want their business to be really profitable, but nobody talks about retirement and what that actually looks like. People talk about investments and, retirement and money, but what does retirement look like you 20, 30 years from now? Are you still doing permanent makeup?
Most likely. I mean, for me, it's such a freaking hobby that I love it so much. I always say if I didn't get paid for it, I would still do it. And like with tiny tattoos, like me getting into tiny tattoos, I did so many for free. I did not care to make money off them. I just loved doing them so much. So I don't know how to ever give it up completely. I'll probably be like in the nursing home doing my friend's eyebrows, but no, what does it look like for me? I want to travel. I want to have a home somewhere warm. The kids are still really young, so we've got lots of time to think about that. But yeah, I just want to live a comfortable life. I want to be happy. I don't need much. Like I really am not a flashy girl. I don't need a heck of a lot. I just need my hubby.
That's why so much comes to you.
Yeah, maybe.
What's the legacy of Shay Danielle 50 years from now when your kids are talking about you to their grandkids? What is the legacy of Shay Danielle?
I hope that they're really proud of me, being that I went to college but didn't end up doing anything with that. And I started this kind of all on my own from such a small space in my home, and I want them to be able to do something that they love, because I think that life is so short, and if you don't get the opportunity to work in something that you're obsessed with, then you're missing so much. Like you're really missing out on so much. So legacy wise, I feel like my littlest one, Maeve, will probably follow in my footsteps. If you ask her what she wants to be a tattoo artist like mama. So maybe this will all be hers one day. Maybe it won't. I don't know. And Lila is the brains. She's the numbers. So maybe she'll be like Blair and they'll just keep this thing going forever. And they'll be like the perfect duo, the yin and the yang, just like me and Blair.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then maybe they could take over the business and then you'll work for your children, just like your mom.
Oh yeah, maybe. Hopefully they don't yell at me.
Shay, I know that you're a very busy lady and it has been an absolute pleasure having you on our show. I can't even believe that you showed up. Like, of course I can't because you're so nice, but also, it's the first season with guests. I'm shocked that you didn't put me through the paces first, but
no way.
I know that.
I'm so excited. You know what? When you kind of told me what you wanted to talk about, and I was like, this is right up my alley. It's not your like standard, like, how did you get into the industry? And like the same questions that I find myself answering all the time.
Yeah.
So I love you. I love your style. I love this podcast. And I'm so happy that you asked me to be on it.
Well, thank you. Before we hop off, let our listeners know where they can connect with you and follow you for your work or get in touch with you if they want to learn, etc.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram at shaydanielle.pmu, or you guys can check out our website, shopshaydanielle.com. That's SHAY Danielle.com. And we've got tons of online courses. You can always hit me up and I will answer any questions that you guys have.
And she has a tiny tattoo class coming up in-person one in October.
Oh yeah.
Real soon. Meet Shay and learn from the best. You can head over to Calgary.
Yeah, come see us in Canada.
Thank you so much, Shay. I appreciate your time.
Of course, friend. Okay, love you.
I love you.
Bye, guys.
Go and have a great day. Wow. Okay, so I'm in shell shock. Okay, so Shay Danielle was just on the Glam Life podcast and said that when I told her the concept of the podcast, she couldn't wait to do it. That's amazing. Okay, so today is a really big day for me. Not only did I get to chat with Shay Danielle, but I'm also closing on some property today. Your girl is officially a landowner. I own about 1.5 acres on the riverfront property. The entire thing lines up against the river. So like 110 feet of river frontage, something like that. And I'm going to build a house and I'm going to do my gardening and I'm going to live a nice, happy life. Just like Shay mentioned, like it's really not about the flash. Yes, I drive a Porsche, but it's not about that. Yeah, what an amazing I'm on a high right now. Okay, I'm riding high. I really want to thank Shay Danielle for lending her name. Thank you so much, Shay, for lending your name to the Glam Life podcast. You are welcome back here anytime. You're an amazing guest. You're so lovely to work with, you guys. She is as kind behind the scenes as she is on camera. She's no diva at all. Busy lady, but she always makes the time, which is something that I really value about her. And of course, we cannot forget our amazing sponsor, Brow Sister PMU products. Thank you to Brow Sister. Yes, I know that that's me, but honestly, it's you, because without you shopping at shopbrowsister.com, this podcast would not be possible. And I would not be sitting here calling this work while I get to chat with my friends on the internet, which is just an amazing opportunity. So thank you so much to Brow Sister PMU products and to you, all of the people who shop at shopbrowsister.com. Your unwavering support really makes it possible for us to bring informative and inspiring conversations, both to the podcast via audio and now via video. So if you want to watch this as well as behind the scenes content and the after show, go over to the GlamLifePodcast.com and sign up. It's 100% free. And Brow Sister appreciates you just as much as I appreciate them. So if you go to shopbrowsister.com, use the code GlamLife20 and enjoy 20% discount thanks to Shay Danielle. So I will see you, I'll see you Glammies later. Stay fabulous. I'll see you in about a week. Go ahead and log on right now so you can watch the after show with Mindy and Katie. And yeah, for my next guest, we'll be talking to Jody Stosky. So I'll see you next week. Hey, real quick, before you head over to the GlamLifePodcast.com and enjoy the after show and all of the exclusive behind the scenes content, I did want to mention to you that while you are at the GlamLifePodcast.com, you can also go ahead and reserve your seat for December 15th, right here in the Glam Life Podcast studios inside of the Microblading Institute. We are having our very first Christmas conference. 6 speakers, 6 demonstrators, lunch and dinner is on us, and it's absolutely free. The only thing that we ask is that you reserve a seat, but that money hits your account right back when you walk in with a donation for Toys for Tots. So not only do you get continuing education hours, experience, networking, learn a little bit, pad your skill set, but you also make a child's Christmas better. Again, that is December 15th, and you can reserve your seat over at the GlamLifePodcast.com.